Welcome to Healers Talk Healing, the podcast where we gather to explore the art and science of holistic healing, uncovering the secrets to a happier, healthier you. I'm your host, Nina Ganguly, and together we will delve into the intriguing world of holistic healing, delving into the mind-body connection, ancient wisdom, and natural remedies. Get ready for enlightening stories, thought-provoking expert interviews, and practical tips that will empower you to unlock your true potential and embrace a vibrant, balanced life. Whether you're an experienced wellness enthusiast or simply curious about the power of healing, join us on this exhilarating journey as we share the wisdom and insights that can truly transform your life. It's time to embark on a voyage towards a happier, healthier you. So, without further ado, let's dive into the captivating world of Healers Talk Healing. And welcome back to another episode of Healers Talk Healing. Today, Lynn and I are excited to share some big news. We're unveiling the rebranding of Miracles Directory to Miracles Ultimate Wellness Resources, a transformation that reflects the incredible growth and expansion of our mission. This new direction allows us to better serve our global community and our cherished healing heroes, offering robust resources, a membership program, and a comprehensive business academy. In this episode, we also delve into the everyday miracles that shape our lives, from learning to let go and embracing gratitude to recognizing how small shifts can lead to the profound transformation. We explore how miracles surround us in every moment if we're open to receiving them. So join us for this exciting announcement and heartfelt conversation where we celebrate the miracles of life and the incredible journey ahead. Let's get into it. Once again, I am very excited to have our founder, our leader, our lady extraordinaire, Lynn Herodivergis, back with us on Healers Talk Healing, so we can catch up and really talk about what's been going on behind the scenes. You know, we are really busy bees, but out there in the world, I don't think that we have shared about what it is that we've been up to in the past little while. The podcast is doing well and it's growing and exciting, and talking to all the healers that are joining the network. And I think it's a time that we just do a quick, maybe not so quick, we'll see where it goes, catch up.
I know, but once we start talking, it's not always so quick, but we won't belabor the point.
So, you know, I know we've been doing a lot of work. We have a lot of new things to talk about. So, Lynn, I'm going to hand it over to you to talk about, first of all, our rebranding from the Miracles Directory to Miracles Ultimate Wellness Resources. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Nina. Yes, we are still Miracles Directory to a great extent. That is actually the parent company. And then from the Miracles Directory, we actually expanded and created an LLC called Miracles Ultimate Wellness Resources, LLC. It was a way to really define who we are a lot more. Okay. Miracles Directory is lovely as an overall arcing company, but we really do so much more than that. As we have been developing and as we've been growing and so forth, there have been so many ideas that have come to mind that needed to be expressed and needed to be done. And so it's like, oh, well, we have to do this and we have to do that and we have to do this and we need to offer that. And so as that was continuing to go through my mind, as my brain, like yours, is always working, as information is always being downloaded, right? It was so much more befitting to say Miracles Ultimate Wellness Resources. So, first of all, there are so many things that we are doing. It started off again as a directory listing page for the global community who are looking for authentic, genuine, professional, and experienced health and wellness practitioners, AKA, we call them our healing heroes. And that seemed to be fine. But then it was like, well, wait a minute. We're really serving a dual community. We're
Mm.
serving the global community, but we're also serving the healing heroes or health and wellness practitioner community. And how do we do that? How can we create a more robust business and programs that will be best for everyone? And so, in answering that question, what actually started to come into more focus was adding a membership. Ah, let's add a membership community to the actual healing heroes so that they're able to support each other, so that they're able to learn from each other, so that we're able to all grow together, not only in the healing professions and trades, but also in business itself. Because we know so many beautiful and wonderful healers and health professionals that love to be of service, that love to share the products that they have that are really dynamic, but they don't always know how to really expand their business and be able to reach people like all of you out there that are listening. So we've created that membership community for them in order to help them to expand and be presented with things that they may not have always thought about. In light of that, we also created what's called the Miracles Ultimate Wellness Business Academy, specifically for those who choose to work through and with the Miracles Ultimate Wellness resources as a healing hero. And so we have a full-on business academy. And it covers everything you want to know about business from A to Z, whether you are just starting and want to be an entrepreneur, or if you are someone who has a very good and robust business, but you're ready to take it to the next level, because we can help you take it all the way to franchising if that's what you want to do. So we really do have that program, and I'm excited about it. We've been working on it so diligently, really focused, and that will be introduced in 2025. So stay tuned, just a few more months, and we'll be announcing that. And then for our global community, we realize that it's wonderful to know who to connect with. But not just connect with, maybe you're a person who likes to read and do a little research. So we have our blog. Maybe you're someone who really likes to watch videos and learn about health and wellness and natural health resources. So we have that for you too. We also have for you products that we've added to our line. So you can see we've really expanded from just the directory. So now we also have products. We have various products in the marketplace at large that we believe are wonderful assets and that can help you, as well as products from other healing heroes that really are just superb, what we call our premier products. So we have those as well. And we also have a Miracles Ultimate Wellness Healers Academy for the global community. And that academy is actually a way for you to learn, hear about, and become aware of so many of the different healing modalities. Like, a lot of people have heard of Reiki. but they may not really know what Reiki is. Well, we have a Reiki triple master
Mm.
who is doing, who is working right now on providing a course for us in Reiki. Now, it's not an attunement. If you've heard about Reiki attunement, she can do that online, but it would be a little bit more than what we're doing right now, but it's a fabulous introduction, and you'll get a chance to hear more about it and learn about it. And then we have someone who talks about numerology, someone who talks about and really takes you into exercises to be your own avatar. Not an avatar like you see out there that is a pseudo you, but the real avatar, the person that is who you are, the soul essence of who you are is your true avatar. And from that place, you have tremendous power. So we have some people discussing that and taking you through some exercises to help you connect with that part of yourself. We just have acupressure. What else do we have? We yoga. It's a
So
plethora of
many
things.
things.
So many things. And I will be also sharing with you how to connect with your intuitive ability and how to strengthen that on a daily basis. So, anyway, we have all of those things. As you can see, I'm excited about it all.
Just a little
They will
bit.
they will both be launching actually toward the end of January. And this is why we have rebranded ourselves and everything I've just said as the Miracles Ultimate Wellness Resources, because it's not just about finding people in a directory like the old yellow pages, for those of you that are young enough to remember that. We are, as you can see, so much more. We truly are expanding and will continue to expand because there's still yet more to come, but that's for another time, into being the place that you can go to, whether you're a healer or not, to fully receive any and everything you could possibly think of in the way that's best for you to receive information about our health, about healing, about wellness, and what that means from every single standpoint. So that's why we've rebranded ourselves.
Well, thank you for sharing all of that, because it is so exciting. And in the back end, because I'm the face of the podcast, but on the back end I do the marketing and many other hats that we both all of
Yes,
us in the
all
background.
of us wear.
And
Mm-hmm.
it's been exciting. We were just having this conversation the other day about what we have been able to do, because we are also growing and expanding. And I think one of the things that's exciting is that as we grow and expand, that then just overflows to the healing heroes, and
Mm-hmm.
also to those who are seeking more understanding of what a holistic life looks like.
Yes.
I think it's so powerful to be able to say, hey, let's grow together. Let's
Yes.
expand our reach together. Let us help you expand your reach, and
Mm-hmm.
help you partner with us. We partner with you. And I think it's beautiful. That's one of my favorite things to do, is to be a collaborative partner. And that's what
Yes.
I'm so excited about with our expansion and with the resources and everything that we provide. It's like really is a collaborative partnership that we work with on both kind of ends of the spectrum, for those who are
Mm-hmm.
providing and those who are seeking. One of the things I wanted to ask you, though, is the word miracles.
Yes.
So many people have this notion of what a miracle is. And I think the notion out there, let's talk about in the Western world, when
Mm-hmm.
we have kind of, Western philosophies around what miracles are and where miracles come from. And there's a really sort of, I would step out to say, this religious, uh, not so, what word I'm looking for, a religious context around the word miracles. But I know for us, as the company called Miracles Ultimate Wellness Resources,
Mhm.
that word means so much more.
It does. It does. Many years ago, in my meditation, I was I was teaching classes and doing one-on-one mentorships and so forth, which I still do. And I actually also had a church and a ministerial program. And that was back in the last century. So moving forward in this century, I was given the name then to call the seminary Center of Light Miracles.
Mm.
And since then, I've continued to use the name Miracles because miracles are really things that most people think of as supernatural, but they're not. Miracles, and we all have learned that everything is energy. Miracles is the way that energy moves and works and flows throughout our life, throughout who we are, to in a way where every day they create situations, circumstances, experiences that we flow into, we move into, that continue to improve our life, shift our life, change our life, transform our life in various ways. I'm sure that a lot of people have understand that it only takes a second to make a decision that will absolutely turn your life on a dime. It could be a word, it can be a phrase, it can be something you see, it can be something that you feel or you start to think about. And then when action is taken, whatever that action is, all the energy moves forward in one swoop to bring about the outcome. Well, sometimes we're aware of that. Sometimes we're not aware of it.
Mm-hmm.
And when we're not aware of it, things happen. Even when we are, things happen, right? So within those results, within those things that happen, we may find, wow, you know what? I was really wanting to do something that would make a difference in the world. And aha, the idea came up to create a way for people to receive a holistic, totally, fully robust way of being able to help transform, shift, change, and heal themselves. And in all of the small ways that we do, overcoming fear, letting go of addiction, being able to be in harmonious relationships, discovering that fear we had before is not there, being able to experience having more abundance, whatever and however that shows up in our life. Wow, all of those things are miracles. Miracles are simply energy that, in small or large ways, change, shift, transform, transmute, and that continue to flow in a way that improve our lives and help us to become clear about who we are and connect with our true soul essence.
Mm.
So that's miracles.
I'm giggling because this is a conversation we are having consistently,
Yes.
in the background for the listeners, for people who are listening to us. Lynn and I are in conversation all the time.
Mhm.
Because we're both working on ensuring that the word gets out. I think that's the best way to put
Yes.
it. The word gets out about who we are, what we do, and how we can support
Mhm.
increasing, expanding, transmuting, transforming that which is a miracle
Yes.
of
Yes.
lives.
Mm-hmm.
and the miracle workers, the miracle receivers. I would say we're all miracle workers, just based on
Absolutely.
the description that you gave us. When you put your mind to something, I love what you said, transform, transmute. That's what
Mm-hmm.
resonating for me in the definition is transformation, transmutation. When you say that, I can think of a million different little things that have happened in my life when I look back, because hindsight's always 2020. Oh,
Yes.
yeah, that was a miracle. That person
Mhm.
coming into my life, even though it didn't feel like a miracle at the time. I
Right.
I
Right.
want to be able to put this context in there when those lessons that are learned by things that you think, ooh, that was hard. I didn't want that to happen. Ooh, but at the end of it, something came out of it, which transformed you, or you transmuted that energy into something else, and it opened up another door. It opened up another conversation. It created another relationship. To me, those are miracles when I look back,
Yeah.
because if I hadn't made the choices that I made, if those things didn't show up, then I wouldn't be where I am today and creating the life that I want for myself and for others. I really have been reflecting on that a lot. And a lot of it comes through, I will share with, when you think about gratitude and you're thankful for all the little things, all of those are little miracles.
Mm-hmm. They are. They are. And that's why it's so important for us to be in gratitude and to know that we are blessed at every step, at every turn, in every situation. We are blessed. And when you are filled with the essence of yourself and the blessings that the divine continues to feed through us, around us, everywhere we go, then you will continue to be in the flow. And as you're in the flow, you're always shifting, changing, transmuting, transforming whatever needs to happen so that it benefits not only you and your highest and best good, but for everyone else that you encounter and have interaction with. That's part of why we're here. And all of those are miracles. So, as you were talking, I was thinking about two of my friends. Each one, I wanted to give an example of miracle.
Mm,
Okay. In one case, I have a friend who lives in Yucca Valley in California. Some of you may be familiar with it, but it's a beautiful desert area. And she has a lovely type of resort home and grounds. And she was in her kitchen cooking, and there was a bird that came flying right at the window, but the windows were so clean. I think the bird was trying to fly into the house,
mm,
but wasn't able to. And it flew into the window and fell straight down. Well, my friend was in a panic. She is like another friend that you and I have, love goddess personified. It's like, oh my God, the bird, the little bird. So she runs out and she sees the bird lying there, not moving, almost, you know, don't know if the bird was actually dead, but definitely knocked out or something.
mm,
And she noticed that there was nothing happening for about 5-10 minutes. And she picked the bird up in her hands and she just started sending the bird love energy. And she sent it love energy. And she was gently whispering and talking to the bird. And as she continued to do this, after a couple of minutes, the bird kind of came to and it looked at her and was still in her hands and was like looking around, like, where am I? And she said, when you're ready, you can fly. You can fly, you know? And so she's doing this with the bird, and the bird looks at her and, like, decides, all right, I'm good, and takes off. That's a miracle. That's a
mm.
miracle. Would the bird have come to had she not given it love or talked to it from a loving place, created the vibrational, I'm going to say like bubble or cocoon for the bird to be safe and to heal? I don't know. Maybe it would have, maybe it wouldn't have. But in that moment, there was a beautiful creature that was able to continue on with its on its way and in its life. And she was able to do the same, knowing that there was a connection,
Mm.
life to life, that is so beautiful and so pure and so precious. So I call that a miracle. Another example is another friend of mine who works a job. She's a very creative person. I can't use names, but she's a very creative person. And she is an actress, and director, but she's also an adjunct professor at one of the major universities in the country, in the US. And so we were talking, and she said, I've been doing so much in terms of being the oh, what do you call it? Like the headmaster of the program, the acting program and the arts program, or assistant headmaster of the arts program. I'm in meetings all day and I want to create. I want to create. She said, I've got to get back on stage. I've got to direct. I need more. But I just feel like I'm stuck. So we were talking about it here and there. And so I said, well, all you have to do is just let go of being stuck.
Mm.
And she said, huh? I said, just let go of being stuck. She said, well, now they want to offer me this and they're talking about offering me that and they want me to be part of this. And I just said, well, what do you want? And
Mm.
she said, I just want to create. I have to create. She said, I love teaching and I love working with the young men and women I teach. But she said, the meetings and the responsibilities and being on Zoom all day, that's not who I am. I said, well, then just say no. And she said, what? I said, just say no. I know you are always she has such a beautiful heart and soul. She's always there to help and to serve and give, and she gives and she gives and she gives. And I said, now it's time to give to yourself. So you can be unstuck by saying no and open yourself up to what you want to do. And she said, okay. And she texted me 24 hours later after our conversation, and she said, well, I just received a call and so on and so forth. And now she's moving back she's still teaching, but she has opportunities now to expand and move into her craft,
Mm.
her real craft. And so she said, wow, isn't that profound? And then she texted me a couple of weeks ago and said, oh, and I also have another offer and opportunity to do such and such. I'm like, oh, that's fabulous. So she's kind of back on her road, being who she is and expressing what she needs to express of herself to the world. And she'll be able to do it in between and during vacation time that universities have. So it's I call that a miracle also.
I love the simplicity of it, and yet how complicated we make everything. The
Yes.
I heard in what you're saying, so I have a question. You said, well, just
Let go.
let go. Don't be stuck. And
Hmm.
almost every single coach out there, what we work on is helping people get unstuck so that they can move forward and be who they want to be and have the life they want to have.
Hmm.
And just letting go,
Hmm.
letting go. I'm going to ask you because you're a master at what you do. What does letting go look like for people? What does that mean? Like, because people say just let it go, and a lot of times when somebody tells me to let it go, my immediate is like, I don't wanna. I don't wanna. Don't. I don't. I am self-righteous, and I have the right to hang on to whatever it is, or feel stuck, or whatever have you. But in order to create the miracle, we have to do something called letting go.
Yes.
What does that mean?
Well, it took me a long time to learn what letting go meant. But really, letting go happens in various ways. For my friend, letting go meant simply making the decision and the choice to honor herself, period. That's what letting go was for her in that moment. Letting go can also mean not having to be in your head to figure out what you need to do,
Mm,
but to simply put your attention on something else. Having your attention on something else can be as simple as, I am so thankful that the answers to this situation already exist and I can receive them. But you're not thinking about, well, let's see, should I do this? Should I do that? Maybe it needs to be like that. Oh, I need to call, but when you're in your head thinking and trying to figure it out, and what do I need to do? And where do I need to go? And what needs to happen? Let go of all of that and just simply be in a place of the answers are there. The fact that I even have the questions, the fact that there's even this situation taking place means there are already answers. There always is. There's never a question without that answer. Never,
mm.
never. It's always there. So you don't have to figure it out. You can just be thankful and grateful for the fact that the answer is there and that you can receive it. And then go about doing something else, clean your house or take a drive or whatever else you need to do,
Kind
you
of like
know,
shake it off and move.
shake it off and just keep going, keep going. So letting go really in that case means shifting your focus.
Mm,
Just shift your focus. So you can shift your focus, you can honor yourself and, make a decision or a choice. Um, Letting go also means allowing the feeling to move through you
mm,
and let it be there 100% as deeply as it can be, especially when in fear. If you're in fear, be in fear 100% and totally. Feel that fear working deeply inside of you.
mm.
And as deep as you feel it, and you go deeper and go, well, can I feel it anymore? All right, can I just bring it on anymore? Just a little bit more. And when you take it all in and let it move through you, it's amazing how all of a sudden it's like, whoa, wait a minute, I'm I'm not feeling anything anymore. What's going on? Because you have taken it to the absolute depth that it can go in that moment for you. And at that point, there's nothing else you can do with it but exhale and it's gone.
That's very powerful. It's that is so powerful because I think everything else is driven, that stuckness is
Mm-hmm,
driven by fear.
mm-hmm.
It's, wanting something to go a certain way is because you want this outcome to happen.
Right.
And the stuckness, I'll speak for myself, the stuckness comes from, well, what if it doesn't work out? What if I make the wrong move? What if I make the wrong decision? What if I say the wrong thing? The what ifs that we, burden ourselves with. And the feeling of the fear. Let's just talk about the feeling of the feeling
Mm-hmm,
for a moment.
mm-hmm.
I think one of the things as human beings, I was just talking to my tribe of women, whom you know,
Yes.
about this thing about feeling feelings.
Mm-hmm,
I think many of us don't actually know how to feel feelings. We
No.
sometimes don't even know how to name them to
Mhm.
say, oh, I'm angry. No, I'm not angry. I'm that. No, I'm not this. Oh, no, it's actually not this. And to work yourself back to the basics of whatever that
Whatever the feeling
emotion,
is.
and then make, and then be in that space of like, well, what does that feel like? And I think we want to make it logical, like
And
that.
you
It's
and
not.
that's the whole point. It is true that your mind, your emotions, your physical body, and your spiritual nature, they are all connected. And they're not connected by lines or strings, but it's more like just a moving, beautiful symphony that just, permeates and fills your entire you.
Mm,
Okay. So, feelings, first of all, we've been programmed from childhood, many of us,
mhm.
to not feel them. Well, why are you
Exactly.
crying? Well, you have nothing to cry about. It's just all these little things from when you're small, or you want a hug. There's something that you need from the parent or teacher or whomever. You don't get it, and so you find a way to just kind of have to stuff it inside and kind of deal with it and find a way. But you better not have an attitude. We're programmed to not express and experience our feelings.
Mhm.
As adults, we start to become more in tune with some of our feelings. And feelings, by the way, are different from emotions, but I'll explain that in a minute. But we become more in tune with our feelings. And then, as you said, well, am I angry? Am I just really, is that really depression? I read somewhere that being angry really means, depression within. Okay, am I depressed? What am I depressed about? We're back in our head trying to figure out what we're feeling rather than just feeling it. Don't put a label to it.
Mm.
There's no label. The reality is, whatever you're feeling is what you're feeling. And it doesn't matter whether it's anger or sorrow or depression or grief or whatever, you're just feeling it. So you don't have to put any words or thoughts or analytical, intellectual, realizations to it.
It'll be ahas.
Yeah, that's what keeps us stuck.
Hmm.
Just feel it. All right. So emotions, really, there are two primary emotions. One is joy, is love,
Mm.
and the other one is fear. Those are the emotions. And based on the emotions, we respond or react
Mm.
or leap forward or stay still or whatever we do because we don't want to go deeper into especially the fear parts of it, right? So when you can just feel what you feel, then you're able to move. And when you're experiencing things that are uncomfortable, typically, I mean, like really uncomfortable, it's connected to fear in some kind of way.
Mm.
Grief is even a form of fear
Mhm.
because you're afraid of, what's missing and you don't have it. And that's a part of you that's not whole or not connected or abandoned or, all of these other things, right? Love is connected to joy, exhilaration, laughter, humor, excitement. Okay. The feeling now of fear or anxiety and excitement you experience in your body. Okay. So the feelings you experience in your body or through your body. And so when a person says, Oh, I'm so nervous. I have to get on stage. Are you nervous or are you excited? Because when you get really excited and you're ready to get on that ride at Disneyland, ooh, I'm excited. And you still feel that same feeling. So let's not put labels to it. Let's just experience those feelings and go into it. So one of the things that I do in letting go of feelings is in my meditation, I actually not only am very still to feel my feelings, but I also ask myself, what does that feeling look like? And there's an image that comes to my, you know, internal eye, my sixth chakra, third eye. And so whatever that looks like in that moment, I'm like, okay, let me go straight into the middle of that. Maybe it's a brick wall.
Mm.
I'll go right into that brick wall and what's on the other side of that brick wall. And I don't think about what it could be. I just go, what's on the other side of the brick wall? And it opens up, and it may open up to, a dark castle from the Wicked Witch of the West. And it's like, and I'm feeling it deeper. And I'm like, okay, and what's in the center of that castle? And that's what I do. And I continue to do that and continue to do it. Sometimes it only takes 5 minutes. Sometimes it seems like it could take 5 hours. But I do that until I go deep into the middle. And what happens is a complete and total release where it is so bright, it's not even a color, it's a color that's indescribable because it's not even a color, but it's a vibrational essence that is indescribable but phenomenal. And at that point, the love, the joy, all of that just completely permeates my space. And I'm like, oh, I'm good. And the interesting thing about it is, by doing the exercise that way, I have found for myself, I don't have that same feeling come up again like that.
With like the intensity.
Yes, that the intensity, or in reference to whatever triggered me, in reference to what triggered me. It's like it's not there like that. And it's so freeing and so wonderful and so, exhilarating that yeah, I like living in that space.
That's golden. I
And
think
that's
that's
a miracle.
golden. Yeah,
Yes.
it is.
Yeah,
It
that's
is
a
a
miracle.
miracle. Being
Hmm.
able to feel, I think feelings, we have to remember we're feeling something. That feeling resonates. The first thing any practitioner will say, well, what are you feeling? Where are you feeling it?
Hmm.
When I feel fear or angst, it's most of the time it's in this like core area, right between the chest
Yeah.
and the
Hmm.
belly. I don't feel it in
Yeah.
my feet. Let me just put
Yeah,
it
well,
that
this the second, third, and fourth
well,
chakras,
like
but
all
typically
the
the
lower
second,
chakras, right? It's
first,
like
yeah, the lower chakras, first, second, third,
where you
sometimes fourth.
feel these things, but it's so funny. I love what you said in the meditation of, okay, well, what does that fear look like? And when you said it, the first thing I got was a big dark cloud, like how in the Peanuts Lionel or Linus,
Yeah,
he has that big
Linus.
cloud over his head. That's
Hmm.
how I envision it. I'm like, okay, there's a big cloud, but I never went beyond the cloud.
Ah.
I've never gone beyond the cloud. I'm just like, that's what it looks like. It feels like a big cloud. Now I'm
Hmm.
thinking, oh, next time I'm gonna be like, okay, well, what's in the cloud? Like what's
But
beyond
yeah, go to the
the cloud?
center of the cloud. Yeah.
And see. And right now, when I say that to myself as I'm walking through this exercise with you, I'm like, I see a lot of lightning. I see a lot like lightning, like a
Hmm.
thunderstorm.
Hmm.
I'm like, oh,
Hmm.
that's my drama. Okay. Because I'm
Yes.
very
Yes.
dramatic.
Yes. And you don't, and this is the key too. You may know specifically what it is when you go to the core of something, but if you don't know, don't the big thing is not to get in your head around it. Well,
Hmm.
what is that? Well, why am I seeing a giant grasshopper? what does that really mean? It doesn't matter what it means. Go into the center, the core of the grasshopper,
Mm,
because everything, again, is energy, whether it's visual, whether it's feeling, whether it's taste or smell or hearing, it's all energy. So if you are experiencing, seeing something that looks a certain way, it doesn't necessarily mean that you've got grasshoppers going on inside of you, clearly. It represents something, but it doesn't matter whether you know what it represents or not when you're working on busting through the feeling.
mm,
You may be in tune to it as soon as you see it. Oh, yeah, okay. I see. Yeah, that's my great grandmother when she used to whoop me like that.
mm,
It just may come just like that. And it's like, okay, no big deal. Go right to the core. Everything is about going to the core. And as you keep going to the core, you're really going to the core within you of whatever that trigger is that has you feeling what you're feeling. That's
mm,
why when you go all the way in, and it may not be in one sitting, it might be a few times that you're going through it. But when you do, and you go through the core and you have your breakthrough, that's when you're not triggered by that situation anymore. And you don't experience the feeling. That's what I meant by you don't experience a feeling in the same way that you had, because you've already broken through the core. You've cleaned out all of the gunk and the junk and stuff. And so when you're on the other side of it, you're neutral to it.
and therein lies the miracle. And I think it's
Yes,
the
that's the miracle.
full circle back to that. There is the miracle. And I think, as we're having this discussion and we're talking about miracles, like life in and of itself is miraculous. And
Mm-hmm.
all of it is a miracle. Like the willingness to do the work, like every day getting up in the morning and doing what you
Yes.
do. And for those our listeners here who are just beginning to understand this world of holistic healing and
Mm-hmm.
quote unquote woo woo and the spiritual and the energy and all of that, I think I would invite you to really look at the miracle of life in and of itself,
Yes,
aside
life is a
from
miracle.
the circumstances in which you are. Because it's
Mm-hmm.
easy to be like, well, Nina and Len, you guys are already here. You're down this path over here. But guess what? I was somewhere else a long time ago. It took something, a plethora of miracles to be able to sit down here and have this conversation with you.
Yes.
I wasn't a believer in miracles
Mm-hmm.
at
Mm-hmm.
all. I didn't think I was allowed to have miracles
Ah,
in my life,
there you go. Mm-hmm.
right? Like this is many of us can be in that position where we feel like, well, I'm not making the money I want to make. I don't have the life I want to have. So where is the miracle in that?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The miracle I would invite you to do is go look for it. Be curious. I have this written down right here. Life is an experiment. We are always testing and tweaking.
Yes, that's very true. That is very true. And the miracle of not having the things that you'd really like to have or living the life that you would choose to live, the miracle in that is that you have the ability to shift it, to change it, to transform it, to transmute it. And when you do, not if, but when you do, you will find that the love and the joy that takes its place, the level of just even, I'm not saying that everything then will be perfect and it's always going to be exactly how you want it all the time. But what I am saying is that you begin to live from a different place of not only consciousness, but just being.
Mm,
And again, there's the true love, real love is indescribable. It, I mean, I can find all sorts of adjectives to try to explain it and talk about what it is, but it is so fully all encompassing and everything you do and everything that happens, that even if someone was to hold a gun to your head, there's still this sense of love. You can see that person. You see the spirit, the light, the truth of that individual. And that the only reason they'd have a gun to your head is because there's some level of fear or stuckness that they may be in. And that with you being in a place of neutrality and a place of love and being completely surrounded with this incredible energy, it's something that they will experience too. And
Mm,
you'll find they're unable to pull the trigger.
mm.
So it is a very powerful thing. And I use that example because I didn't have a gun to my head, but I did have a knife to my throat. And so it's powerful. It is powerful. I'm not saying that I'm in that space of, the emotion and the full essence and being of love in the way I'm talking about all the time. No, I also, you go in and out,
Yeah.
in and out, in and out. But once you have experienced it, and you've experienced it a few times, you do everything you can to make that fully your way of being.
Mm,
And in that way of being, your life is continuously and constantly flowing in a place of miracles. And in that space, what you choose to think of that you desire can happen within 24 hours or less. And that's often the space that I find. I'll think, oh, you know what I really need? And then it's there. I'm like, oh, how wonderful.
I
I, I
I
had to
agree
buy
with you.
it just shows up. I needed to buy a new car several years ago, and I didn't want to do credit for it. And I'm like, found the car I wanted, and it's beautiful new Lexus at that time, and which is not $5,000. It's more than that. And I go to my bank account, and there was more than enough money to pay for the Lexus. I didn't deposit it. I didn't know where it came from. What I did discover later was that my husband had deposited it because it was an insurance claim. His brother, unfortunately, had passed away suddenly, and there was an insurance claim that I didn't know about. And he deposited the money in the bank account. But I started looking at cars. I went to Lexus dealers and started driving them. I just really immersed myself in it. And I just knew I was going to pay cash for the car. And 2 weeks later, there was the cash, and I went to the dealer and got the car.
It's living as if.
Huh?
It's the living as if the miracle has already happened.
Yeah. Yeah. And not even as if I just knew.
Hmm.
It was like I was in knowing. It wasn't even like, oh, yes, this will happen one day. I wasn't in that space. I was really in a space of joyfulness and love and all that encompasses. And I'm like, oh, I need to start looking for my new car because I wasn't sure what I wanted.
It's that is so powerful. And I think, we round up this conversation back. I'm going to bring it back to our listeners who may be in the state of inquiry, curiosity, experimentation. This is why there are miracle workers, healing heroes out there,
Yes,
because you don't need to do this work on your own. And I
exactly.
highly recommend, not just because I help people, it's because I have been helped by so many powerful people along the way to help me through my fears
Hmm.
and getting unstuck and seeing
Hmm.
the miracles. And I'll share one of my miracles that have happened this year. This year, one of the things I said to myself is I'm going to get to know myself better. I'm going to
Mhm.
understand who I am. And one of the things I'm really taking on is my health and wellness, and just creating this more trusting relationship with self. Just saying that, just like that's what I want. And I keep coming back to that when things are not necessarily always going the outcomes that I want. I'm always going back to, okay, it's an experiment. This is what I want. Like these are the things that I'm creating. And you know, a friend of mine says to me, "Oh, I found this coach and she's incredible. She's helping me with strength training." I'm like, "Yeah, I need that, perimenopausal, or maybe I'm postmenopausal. I don't even know yet." But, I'm in that
Some
space
kind of puzzle.
yeah, where I need to start taking care of my body and my muscle strength, because I feel like there's so much I still need to accomplish in life before I
Mhm.
leave. And so, I don't want to be the one that hinders the path to that.
Mhm.
She said, "Yeah, there's this woman that I've been working with." Oh, okay. Well, she said, "Here's a webinar. Go check her out." I check her out, start talking to her. I sign up for her program. And then in that program, we find, well, this particular program isn't what I'm looking for. She has another program, which is all about freedom and mindset and creating a relationship with self that is about trust. And I was
Mhm.
like, that's a miracle.
That is a miracle. And it sounds like she should be one of our healing heroes.
Yeah, she is
So have that
incredible.
conversation with her as well.
So there's always that to be said. And then, I said from there, I was like, okay, well, now it's time to expand, the different businesses that I have, and how
Mhm.
to bring that, in the space of, well, let's just not dabble anymore. Let's really just get into it. And
Mhm.
not a word of a lie. I said that to myself, and maybe a week later, this email came up. And in the email, it's like, oh, join this webinar because I'm going to be talking to this person. So it was from Brendan Burchard, and people in the marketing world are
Yes.
huge, right?
Mhm.
And so he was doing a webinar with another marketing expert. And I thought, yeah, okay, now you've answered my question.
Mhm.
And in the end, it's always about mindset, but that's not what the conversation is about. This is about, like, these are how miracles happen. It could be something you see on social media. It could be a small conversation you have with, the clerk at the grocery store that tells you something. You're like, I was just thinking about this.
Mhm. Mhm.
It doesn't have to be this like water into wine kind of miracle that many of us
Right.
know about, right?
Yes.
Moving mountains. It could
Mhm.
literally be that little tiny, someone said good morning, how are you? You get into a conversation, and oh my gosh, you find out that they're a Reiki master.
Exactly.
You were thinking, I need something, and then that's a miracle.
That is a miracle. And it is, like you said, it is a mindset. It's having the mindset that miracles are there for you at every turn, in every way. You just need to be open to and have the mindset to be and pay attention to when they're there, when they show up, no matter how big or how small, because they're always there. They're around you constantly and continuously all the time, all the time.
So what I say to round off this wonderful conversation that we had. And by the way, we will be having many, many, many more
Yes, we will.
conversations with Lynn coming up, and we'll share those when they come up. But what I would say at the end of the day is look for the miracle. It's right in
Yes.
front
Yes. Keep maintain an open mind.
of you.
And for all the questions that you have, for all the things you want to know, for all the things you're choosing to change, shift, transform, and transmute, be aware, pay attention, listen for, watch for, be in the energy of over here if you need to, that word or that statement or the comment or the action or whatever it is that you're experiencing in that moment, and know that you are placed there in that spot, in that place, at this time to receive your miracle.
And with that, I say thank you.
Yes.
Until we meet again.
Until we meet again. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, this was wonderful.
It's always a pleasure.
Yes, yes.
Thank you for joining us today on Healers Talk Healing. We hope you've been inspired and empowered on your holistic healing journey. If you've enjoyed today's episode and want to continue learning and growing with us, don't forget to subscribe, follow, rate, and review our podcast. Your feedback and support mean the world to us. Remember, healing is a lifelong journey, and you have the power to transform your life in profound ways. Stay curious, keep exploring, and never stop believing in your own capacity for healing.